by bringing this Wall Street Journal editorial board piece that is being written about John Bolton's indictment. And it reads in part this: opposing Donald Trump is a perilous business, but working for him can be equally as dangerous. That's one lesson from Thursday's indictment of Mr. Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, for mishandling classified documents. There's little doubt that the underlying motivation for this prosecution is retribution. The president has targeted Mr. Bolton at least since 2020, when Mr. Trump called for his prosecution after Mr. Bolton wrote his book. Mr. Trump recruited Mr. Bolton to work for him and cast him aside over policy disagreements. The lesson is that if you work for the president, he then sours on you and you criticize him, you are not safe. If Mr. Bolton had praised Mr. Trump in his book, it is safe to say he would have never been indicted. Katty Kay, the impact and consequences as these indictments keep coming. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I think as judicial watchers, David Ignatius, trying to figure out how important these indictments are. You could look at it from a purely partisan point of view and say if you are a critic of the president, then you're going to be indicted. And if you're a Republican, you're going to look at this and say, well, the Democrats used lawfare as well against President Trump. And the two sides seem just very set in their positions on this one. It was remarkable to me how I talk to Republicans and they say, well, you guys did this before, so we're just doing what you did. Is it worth looking at the kind of individual indictments, or should we be looking at the bigger picture here?
I think this is a case that shows us that you do need to look at the details. The two things can be true at once. This is part of Trump's pattern of revenge against enemies. In that way, it's like the cases against James Comey and Letitia James that were brought. But it's different in the sense that, as Ken Dilanian was saying in his reporting, the fact pattern is different. Those other cases really are so thin, lawyers almost laugh at them. It's not the case here. There are tough questions of law. This is a process that many people who serve in government and then won't go on to write memoirs use. They take their diaries, and their diaries have all kinds of sensitive things in them, and they use those diaries to write the books. So I think this is a serious case. The one thing that I think is indisputable is that John Bolton is a target now in an investigation that was considered by the Biden administration and then dropped because Donald Trump sees him as an enemy. He's on the enemy's list.
Which is the point that Wall Street Journal is making.
Now we move into this prosecution. So it's different from the Comey and James cases on one level, but on another level, it's not different at all. These are enemies.
That's exactly right. There is a pattern. You cannot ignore the pattern that if you crossed Donald Trump in some very public way, then you're vulnerable. He considers you vulnerable. I'd just point out a couple of things. Number one, John Bolton has never been confused with a Democrat, right? I mean, no one would call him a Democrat. He's not. He never has been. And number two, there is this question of diaries. I mean, it is true, as Bolton's lawyer said, that all these high-ranking officials, or many of them at least, do keep diaries to sort of record what they did. And yes, they do it with an eye toward writing books eventually, maybe just with an eye toward history that can be revealed someday. So that's the part of the indictment I don't get. I mean, look, you just did a biography of
somebody
one
who
of the
kept
greatest
diaries.
American public servants. Were there diaries? Did Zbigniew Brzezinski have diaries? And should he have been prosecuted for them?
He like Bolton, kept diaries, wrote a memoir, and got that memoir cleared. Bolton's memoir was cleared. Yeah,
exactly.
So I mean that's why it was published. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been pulped and then republished with the missing bits. But that didn't happen. I mean, I went to see John Bolton in his downtown DC offices a few days ago to talk about prospects, and he showed me the sort of the room of filing cabinets where he keeps all his documents, and he described how the FBI had been sort of going through them with a toothpick. I think it's fair to say, as the late great American Senator, Democratic Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan said that there's an overclassification problem in Washington, and that if everything is classified, including like breakfast menus and stuff, then nothing is classified, and therefore it gives a vengeful actor like President Trump enormous scope to just pick and choose who to take revenge on.
Yeah, and I think in the case of Zbigniew Brzezinski, Ed and I both know there were diaries, and there was criticism, and there were sharp elbows, and we were on the edge of our seats, quite frankly. But the book is amazing and very, very honest, and it gives you a sense of the thinking at the time, which is so important for history. Still